Welcome back to String Blox. How are you doing? We hope you're having a great day. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to unlock strongest armies in Roblox Gladiator Tycoon. But before we begin with today's topic, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notifications so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Without further ado, let's get right into this video. Combat. Gladiator Tycoon is a rather tactical game with a strange sort of turn-based auto combat. Every turn your gladiators will move toward a target and attack them without commands from you. The faster a gladiator is, the longer the distance they can move during a turn. You cannot determine who they will attack first, but you can, hopefully sometimes. They do something that'll leave you scratching your head, like walk all the way to the other side of the map to attack someone other than the guy you place them behind or next to. Influence them since you decide where they go to the start of a battle. A lot of this game is proper positioning, with you trying your best to get behind the enemy or have them focus one target during the beginning of the match, or put your gladiators in range to smack the enemy into walls. Skills are not tied to the turn-based movement, meaning you can utterly ruin an enemy turn by, say, smacking an opponent away with a shield bash as they blunder your gladiator's attack range, or use any skill to turn a gladiator around right as they're about to get stabbed in the back. Here's some tips and notes regarding how to entertain the crowds. Positioning for backstabbing. You could fight honorably, but the crowds love a good smart play just as much as they love mindless carnage. At the start of every match, you can position your gladiators more or less anywhere on the field, some distance away from enemies and obstacles. If you notice, the enemy gladiators will turn around and face any gladiator placed nearest to them, even before the fight starts. You can use this to your advantage. One potential scenario is you placing a tanky gladiator with a taunt skill near the enemy, then place your damage dealer behind the enemy some distance away, especially the ones who have some sort of range attack or some way of closing the distance quickly. Backstab attacks do extra damage in this game, so getting an early backstab can be the advantage you need to ensure a win. Turning around with skills. Skills in Gladiator heroes can turn the battle around when used wisely, but that's a given in any game. The other thing they can turn around though, your gladiators. Cheap close range skills may lack the reach necessary for mid-battle repositioning and sudden attacks, but they can be a godsend if your gladiator is cornered and swarmed, likely due to certain battles only allowing you one gladiator in the arena. Skills can be used to turn a gladiator to face an attack enemy, preventing backstab damage when timed correctly. Since skills are not the only thing you control by the game's turn system, you can do them whenever the heck you want, as long as you have the tactical points for them. Keep in mind, of course, that the more you use a skill, the more expensive it gets. One weakness this tactic does have though: enemies that use spears. Most short-range skills are just short enough that near-using gladiators can poke at them without you being in skill range. If you want to hit spear gladiators with short-range skills, you'll have to corner them. That being said, it can also be done with long-range skills when dealing with spearmen, though the low cost of shorter-range abilities helps with this particular use. Defense. One way for your gladiators to do extra damage is to slam enemies into walls. Gladiators not only occasionally pull off heavy attacks at random, sometimes you get one with a knockback skill. Once they have their backs against the wall, slap them into the wall for some extra pain. This is why trying to stop your team from getting backstabbed by placing them with their backs to the wall is a bad idea. One heavy attack, one wide-swinging two-hander loving gladiator smack, or one shield slap and they take the extra damage away. Unless they're one of the heavy classes like the barbarian, beast, or warrior, since they're completely immune to knockback. Trapped. Eventually, obstacles of certain differing types start appearing in areas, such as spike pads, spike poles, and retractable spike poles. Gladiators are typically smart enough to avoid stepping on them, so making use of such traps is similar to making use of walls. Smack the enemy onto them. Of course, knowing how certain traps work can dictate your next moves after your smack. Enemy gladiators will fly past spike pads while taking heavy damage. Spike poles act as traditional walls and stop gladiators as they smack into them, and retractable spike poles can be walked over until they go up, whereupon they act as spike poles until they go down again. Movement-wise, gladiators will avoid spike pads and non-retracted spike poles, but they will happily and safely walk over retracted spike poles. This means spike pads typically act as obstacles and choke points in maps, along with spike poles. And you can use them to delay dangerous enemies from attacking, and depending on the arena's layout and where you put your gladiators. Know your foe. While there are 9 classes with many different skills, you can generally get an idea of what enemies are capable of and their strengths and weaknesses based on the weapon they carry. Skill choices. If you are unsure which skill to pick for your gladiators, when you either get them new or they level up enough to get new skills, think carefully and pick something that will work well with the gladiators you already have, and their skills. Say you have a gladiator who hits hard but is squishy, and you have to pick between a taunt and damage skill for your new recruit. Naturally, you pick the taunt, so your new guy can take the heat off of your squishy damage dealer, so they can do their backstabbing unbothered. Save your better statues. As you play the game, you might get some gladiator statues early on that allow you to summon from the gladiator residence gacha without spending any gems. Before you do so, try to save at least 1 or 2 of them and gun for HQ level 4 or even 6 as fast as you can, even if it means you have to use some gems to speed it up. Or not if you're willing to wait a week or so. This way, instead of having nothing but sword and shield users, you can have a more balanced team. That being said, don't try to hoard all of them, just some of them. You'll still need bodies on the ground to win, since a lone gladiator is far easier to outflank than a group, no matter how strong they are, and the enemy gladiators typically outnumber you heavily from the offset. At the very least, try to get 3 or 4 gladiators before saving your statues, and try best to save them for every time you unlock a new class. New gladiator. Once your HQ reaches a certain level threshold, usually once you unlock a new class or 2, the starting level of newly acquired gladiators increases, such that they start out at a rank equivalent to 10 whole levels, higher than before. This way you can use them in battle immediately. That being said, this doesn't mean you should toss your old gladiators out if they are at a lower level. They'll only start with 1 skill and no passive beyond whatever happens to be inherent with their class, so it's worth keeping your veteran gladiators around, if they've already unlocked at least their first passive skills. Upgrade quick structures first. Always check which structures take the least amount of time to upgrade. Then upgrade them first. You'll very quickly start hitting the hour-long mark with upgrades barely even 2 days in. And the lack of speed-ups means the only way to mitigate these timers is with gems, since you only have 1 build queue for as long as you don't fork over your money. Go for the easy stuff first. The HQ has a city level requirement for leveling in past certain thresholds, and building and upgrading structures increases your city level. Doing this is easy at first. It means that the time the HQ is next, you'll have hit the level threshold you need. Then you can go for it. But that's pretty much all that's going on in the Roblox community. As soon as there is more news, we'll be the first to let you know. But yeah, that's all that's happening right now. What do you think of today's video? Let us know down in the comment section below. Well, anyways, thank you all so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, watch the 2 videos on screen because I'm sure you'll love them. And with that, I'll see you in the next Roblox video. Goodbye.